Welcome to Pokerimania's SNG night with Dayah and Aarnimetsa.
Hello.
So please let us know that everything is incorrect. You can hear us, you can see us, and our voices are okay this time. So tonight we will have some 45 men sit and goes. I'm starting to collect them here and we will play those. Actually, I will play them and Aarnimetsa is here with me and commenting my gameplay, mistakes and everything else.
And too much helicopter. I don't know why, because on my room the microphone works okay. When we are getting to the other computer and this room, then microphone doesn't work okay.
So huge secrets going on, but we are doing everything we can to make it better. And if something clears in a while, let us know, and if the helicopter sounds whatever come back later on, you can tell that for us as well, so we know what's going on.
Usually it's intermittent and it's something in here, but I just can't understand what the microphone picks up in here that it doesn't pick up in the other room.
So Neo is saying that helicopter was there, but it's gone now. Okay, good to hear and welcome. Neo, Danita, everybody else, good evening. Nice to see you here. And also Nikkimeni Sisofan is saying that everything's fine now. Good. So, like last week, we are playing here on my computer this time. So we had to make some new settings and so forth. So it's good to have some input for you guys that what's working and if there's some possible changes that needs to be done. I have my own backup guy here.
Register the fourth game there.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I can see, I'm only the backup guy here, so I'm so much smaller. So
It's like you are my backup live. We are not playing Mario this time, just sit and goes poker. But it's good to have a backup guy. You never know what's going to crash or if I need to press the big alarm button and then I have my own backup guy. Okay, sound is okay. Hello, Kauris as well. Yeah, actually we have a topic on our forum and you can leave your input there, what you want to see, what you want to hear on our coaching nights. And according to that, we try to make your dreams come true. So quite recently there was questions that maybe we could have some 45 minutes. And here we are, making your dreams come true. Yeah, Detrustol is saying that Aarnimetsa is my wingman. Yeah, in a way. He's telling me good tips like don't forget to register to your next tournament and
how many tournaments do you want?
Actually, I have no idea.
Like all of them.
How many sit and goes can you play? All of them. I have 4 plus 2 now. Haven't really planned that.
I think that less is usually better, so I think that we can stay on 4. So
just unregistered.
Yeah, I think that's usually okay too.
Yeah, usually the less is better. I was just a bit worried that I'm going to bust these earlier on and it takes some time before the next one starts, but probably not that this time. It's not going to be a big of a problem.
There was Neo's question also on one hand.
Already?
Already. You got to play at least like 1 minute or 2 minutes, and like it was second or third hand you played.
Yeah, that Jack 9 off. I was thinking about that maybe I should complete. It wouldn't be a big miss. I could have done that. If that would have been suited, yeah, for sure, I would have completed, but
It's something that I don't think that it matters a ton either way. Like Jack 9 off is probably depends on how many players there are. But it depends a lot on like how great you flop, because usually when you are having Jack 9 off, usually you are not hitting much there. You are hitting middle pairs mostly, some
hmm,
top pairs, and even the top pairs are having weak kickers. So, and when you are completing, usually it's a multi-way pot and you are playing with the worst position, so you don't get much value even if you hit great.
that's true. And then you might get into a trouble. You don't know where you stand with your hand, and then you are just frustrated that why did I start with this hand?
But hello to our own chat, to PS 2011, Blank One, and Kauris and Eki.
Amazing flop. I was already starting to worry if I get any value out of the players, but it doesn't seem to be a big problem today. So, flopping quads and somebody's potting, calling. I'm happy to call. I have no need to put any pressure if the other players are willing to put their stack in.
Does
Go for
Jorbas
it.
have pocket queens and another queen on the river?
Then it may be, but it's hard to see what he could fold there anymore, or just check. So,
Pocket eights?
yeah,
That's interesting way to play pocket eights when there are two overcards coming.
definitely. So, the first double up on our $1.50 game. I think since I'm pretty new at this still.
Actually, are you new at this, since I believe that these were the first game you played?
Oh, I didn't mean that at these games, but at this kind of situation. Actually, these were the very, very first games I ever played poker a few years back.
I actually think that probably 45 mans are, if you like tournament poker, like if you are played enough to know that you like tournament poker more than cash games, I think that 45s are the probably the most awesome way to start your poker career, since in these games you don't, especially in the 1.5 3.5s, there are double digits ROIs available to good players, so you don't need to be the best at your stake to win in these games. You don't need to do anything fancy to win in these games. So these are a pretty perfect game to start with, since you can learn to win quite quickly, especially now that they are starting at 50 cents a piece.
Yeah, this is the format I started to play poker with because of the explanation you just got. And actually, Aarnimetsa is the one being responsible of me playing poker. He basically he taught me everything I know at this point. I was completely newbie when I started. Like I didn't have any background with poker whatsoever. So in a way, I think it was easy for him to start teaching because there was no bad habits to get rid of at the beginning.
Or like it was some home games or something that you have played for fun, so you know the rules of Texas Hold'em, but practically that was it.
Yeah. Here with pocket sevens, I was just happy to check. I didn't want to really bet or raise the pot before the flop, since there was already three players, and it's quite hard to imagine that they would. I'm always behind, but I can't fold this.
If you are always behind, you can fold
It was
something.
just 20 chips.
Yeah, but there are 4 overcards and in a 4-way pot. I think this is like what PS 2011 always says, that why do you call if your opponent's whole range beats you?
There could be that one bluff that I beat.
It's problem when there are like, it's a big problem when all the bluffs have gone through. Like even if he has queen jack for no pair, he's still having a straight. So
Yeah, but if it would have been any bigger bet, I wouldn't have even considered calling. Just 20 chips. Yeah, it's a bad way to say that in a way.
Nikki Penisofani, that's actually an interesting question, since Dayah didn't start by herself. So when he started these 45s, she had seen me play this, she had seen me explain these. So it was the time before I did any poker coaching or anything like that. And I think it's pretty much that when you started out, it was like you did one session, then we looked through the hands. And I think from pretty much the one session onwards, I think that you pretty much started going up pretty instantly.
If there are aces, let there be, but I can't just fold there.
I think it was well played, especially since your opponents are going to go bust there with ace kings and pocket jacks. And
And pair of twos, it was just weird, but this guy already put so much stack in, so it was basically there was nothing he could fold, so in a way just
it's
let the
also
chips in.
it's also funny when or when Kauri says there that maybe on the flop but not on the river. The problem is pretty much that when you are having a flop that there are draws existing, you are having a four-way pot, and we are playing a low stakes game. I wouldn't start turning something like pocket sevens into a bluff.
They are playing so fast here, just all in.
I love the Tapip's comments on our chat.
Yeah.
You can call with a dead hand even if you are getting good value. I think it was out of one of our public-private coachings or one
Yeah,
something.
I think it was. I kind of hate this. It's a bit too early and it's a bit too much. And either way,
I think that with pocket nines, that's not going to be a good call against an average UTG in the games. I don't think that in general we can play that as set mining, but if we know that there are always two players coming in the pot later on, then we could even think about something like that. But even then we would need to at least bust one player out if we hit our set. So I'd say just fold on those pots.
yeah. Perhaps in these games it's easier to get value for your sets because people are willing to go bust with really strange situations, as you saw here previously with the pocket eights.
Okay, there was one guy that was a reg set mining where he didn't get the odds, but well, this happens.
This happens, yeah. I don't have a huge stack here, but I kind of want to see the flop there. With that many players and with this weak players, I think it's profitable in the end.
There's a question by Neo there.
There's one player behind me. If it was a heads up pot, then I would have called. If you raise UTG with kings and wreck behind in UTG +1 3 bets you and you 4 bet none all in and he shoves, would you fold? I think in these games, for example in a $1.50 games, if he's a completely stranger or if he has like really fishy stats, it would be really hard for me to fold. But if it would be like a wreck, for example this guy here, I have marked him from previous games, from whatever games, then it probably would be fold because there wouldn't be that many hands to do that with.
I'm thinking still that every time you are thinking about folding pocket kings on pre-flop, you are doing a big mistake.
Could be. I think the one big point would be that how much you have already put in of your stack. Like for example, if you 4-bet none all in and you are already kind of pot committed, then it would be a bit different than if there would be only like small betting with big stacks on earlier levels.
I don't think that in the kings example, I don't think that the how much you have put in matters that much. Like if your opponent is only there with a range of pocket kings and better, there's like one combination of pocket kings that you are flipping with and everything else that you are in really bad shape. So like if opponent is with pocket kings or better range, then I don't think that we can get enough in with our 4-bet to think about folding or think about calling. But I don't think that there is like any chance that our opponent's range will be just pocket aces or pocket kings and better.
Good questions, and thanks for commenting about them. I'm trying to keep up with the questions and the games, and probably I'm not that good at that still because it's in a new situation in a way that I have to play and I have to think and I have to explain and try to keep up with the questions from different places. So bear with me, please.
Yeah, it's horrible when you're playing poker, you need to think.
Yeah, I have never done that before. Like I have to have my excuses ready for you guys. And hello for Arla. How should I say your name? Arla. I'm in action. So you are free to leave us comments for our Twitch chat or our pokerimania.com chat. And hello to Kaleidoscope and Eject Me. I hope I haven't missed anyone. Yeah, me showing Arni how to play poker. This is completely stranger. Still nothing to know about the guy. My only option is here shove or fold. And I think here I prefer to fold.
I think against a random, it's like pocket eights would be pretty much my last hand that I would shove.
It's
But
right
I don't think
on
that
the
it's,
edge.
I don't think that it's a big difference anyway.
And the people here are amazing. I don't know if in a good way or in a bad way, but if there are two aces, he might have a better kicker or flush draw, but in a way.
On the bottom left, that play has been really awesome. Like, I don't even know what to say.
That is so strange. And again, here's the same situation almost at the not worst hand. Can always fold. Actually here I think I shove.
I think in there it's like pocket fours or better. I don't think that it's way worse situation for you when someone has already opened before you.
Yeah, definitely. And it was early game opener.
But on the bottom left, you have had like 4 times that your chips have been on the middle line, and you are like at the 40-80 level, so.
Actually here I think I prefer just to put everything in. It's kinda about half a pot anyway. And if there's a flush draw again, he won't call if the flush don't go through on the river.
That's still pretty cool. You have gotten your money in with like 80% equity twice on the turn when you have gotten it in against a flush draw.
Yeah, and only once the flush went through. That's amazing. Only 50% of the times. And then there is question from Detrusitol. What about AK in the same spot? You just shove every time happily because we have puckers to ace ace and king king.
I think that it depends, like with ace king, it's a lot more dependent on the stack size, the potos that we are getting. Like if we are getting close to 33%, then I think the blockers will be important, since I think that there will be also weaker pocket pairs, and then you don't need as many weaker pocket pairs. It might even be that you are getting over what's required. You are getting something like 35 against queens plus or. And like I don't think that it's going to be. That's one of the most theoretical questions ever, because with UTG and UTG plus one, we are having a situation with deep enough stacks that there might be something crazy happening. But also, if we are against a good reg, I'm thinking that most good regs are trying to hide their hand strength and be a bit more sneaky with the absolute top of their range, and I think that there will be surprisingly many pocket jacks, pocket queens type of hands there.
Nice hand, but unfortunately I have to fold. Would have been nice to see the flop, but there is one limper on the UTG, and perhaps he's always calling anyway if we both went all in. And my hand is not good enough for that spot. Normally I could, actually against a reg I just shove, because just min raising would be probably more more spooky for him, I guess. I think for him he probably thinks that when I shove my range is not as strong as when I'm min raising with that stack size.
Yeah, I think so too, but even when opponents are thinking that your range is stronger, they might be spooing a bit more. It depends a bit. Like when there is no option to bluff, then it's always a bit worse. But it's interesting to see, like when stack sizes are going down, like when stack sizes are going down, the small bet compared to a shove gets up in value.
If there's a guy who likes to call too often, I prefer shoving to get rid of the guy, and most likely the big blind is not calling at that point. With a bigger stack I would have just called. Yeah, people want me to have my own button. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. So there I shoved the ace small suited and got faced with king queen, I guess, and wasn't lucky enough. That happens. I registered to another one and we'll see what's going on here. This is a bit similar than earlier. There's 3 guys behind me. If my hand would be suited, I would shove. I probably could have shoved with this as well, but it's way better when it's suited. But since there's 3 guys acting after me with such a huge stacks, maybe fold is a tad better. But here I've got my suited aces, which I wanted, even though that now there's more players. If the guy here wants to just call with all his hands and is willing to get rid of the hand for the shoves, even though it was a big shove, I have to admit, then I think shoving here is okay. Now we faced a better ace, but got our flush this time. Not too bad, back in the game. So as you can see here from the info tab, there is 7 places paid. Oh dear. I wanted to have my spot to do the shove here, but against all these guys, hard to see that it's good for me to go all in anymore. If this guy wouldn't have shoved, I would have. No, there was a better hand. It's a good play from this guy. And as you can see, the players here are playing with quite a wide range quite often. And good evening to Callion as well. Neo is asking about my color marking system. If you see the purple one, like this guy here, he's a fish, a bad player. I want to play against that kind of players. And if it's a yellow, that's a good player or a regular. And if you happen to see darker, I think if you happen to see a red one, that's like really good player. Probably none of them are going to be here, but I've marked those in, for example, hypers, when there are some players who are on top of their games. But mostly here, if you see any markings, you will see the Rekish players or the fishes. And basically here, the bigger leap there is between these first dots, VPIP and PFR, the more the better options there is that it's not that good of a player, because it means that the player is limping a lot rather than raising pre-flop. And here I think it was just kind of for set mining, nothing else. Oh dear, I lost another one with ace queen to a ace deuce. Let's start a new game. Not that lucky there either. Actually here I'm going to call, because that could be a bluff as well. Now we got the set and really nice situation here, full house. Now just thinking about the bet size. I think that could be okay. And we got a call. That's good. So with ace 10, he was willing to call. Probably would have called a bit more as well, but a bit surprising that the players here in general, that he wasn't ready to shove all in and be just too excited about the hand he had. But anyway, nice hand. Yeah, Kauris, I got my 3 on the river. Basically, if I wouldn't have gotten my 3 on the river, I wouldn't have called anymore. But since there was 2 aces on the flop and a random 8, there is always a okay possibility that there is a bluff on the turn when the flop goes just checking, since it's more hard to hit your ace when there's 2 on the flop. And it was a reasonable amount of bet size there. Oh, and we get another pair of queens. Ladies, come on, let's go. Don't cheat on me this time. There is opener from the UTG. Here I have less than 10 times the amount of the raise he has. So that's kind of my mental note that go for it. To shove, it's okay in that regards. There's huge blinds Ante's working, and I prefer to put the money in there rather than see the flop and be afraid of the aces and kings there. And here I think it's a reasonable assumption that the players are willing to call a bit more livelier than usually. At least when he was playing from the UTG, there could have been a worse pocket pair that could have called me, I think. So now we have 4 tables again. So 7 places paid. And here in the lobby, if you want to see the prices, the first place gets a bit over $5, and the first gets $44, and this is for the 350 game. So if you have any questions, go for it. I answer them as good as I can, and I have a backup guy if my explanations are completely understandable, not understandable, or I'm somehow otherwise lost. Well, I try my best and it's going to be enough in a way. So H milk is also a rec, says eject me. Let's see there. Actually there. And here, if you are multi-tabling a lot, one good option for you could be that if it feels that you don't have enough time to mark your players in a normal way, well, in normal it happens that you go over the player and press the right button of your mouse and then the color player markings there, but it's a bit faster if you make the changes on PokerStars that you can just with one click find the labeling colors. And if you are multi-tabling a lot, the one-click action saves surprisingly a lot of time for you. I can't remember that of my hand that where is it exactly, but it's somewhere on the settings that you can adjust the markings there. Do you remember where it's exactly? Somewhere in the settings anyway. So with one click on the... Kind of hating my life. With a pair of jacks, you can never play that correctly. But with these games...
No pressure, nobody expects anything from you when you play pocket jacks.
Because you always lose with them anyway. But normally probably I wouldn't have done that, but since that game has been pretty... how to say that in a polite way? Amazing. I think there could be something else as well, and I would be happy to have a flip, for example.
It's like get dealt pocket aces registered to a new game.
Yeah.
It's almost like Kauri's sprint. Bet all in and register to a new game.
Well, this guy clearly wants to give his chips for me, so let it be.
Check the settings there. I think that we can look through those as well. I think it's gameplay or table appearance. Player notes, I think. Gameplay and player notes. Yeah. In settings, gameplay, player notes, there is like left click player to assign label.
So if you select that, then you can just with one click and let them be aggressive at this point. With one click you can color your opponents.
And Detrusital was there just on our chat. Thanks for getting it. So
I could be calling or I could be shoving. Actually there I prefer to shove.
I think shoving is better there. You are going to see some weaker draws as well.
Yeah. Flop 91%. Not bad. Not enough, but not bad. Yeah. And if you see something strange happening, you can use your player notes, but since I'm not playing this regularly, I think I'm not concentrating on that part that much. Both of the players here that have less than 10 big blinds, so I'll just shove there.
You actually used PokerStars in a way that I haven't even understood how it works. Like I have always thought that from the settings you need to always click the All Games lobby to get the lobby back. I haven't noticed that there is a close the window button. And I have used the settings and stuff, the tools, quite often.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't never seen the close window button there.
So I am teaching you how to poker. Cool stuff. Yeah, welcome back. Shoving river with pocket tens if a river is blank with table 1. Yeah. I thought that the player couldn't be folding anything if he had called that far. So it was a bit of a surprise that the guy folded and found the fold button on the flop. So
always when I'm here, I'm seeing that you are flopping the best of the hands, and then you are still going out of the tournament all the time. So
yeah,
it looks like an interesting set at least.
Yeah,
and a lot
interesting. Yeah. I think it was here.
Nikkipen Isofani, how much does Arni love his money?
Not more than me. Let's see the tens here again. So limp call. I could have bet it smaller as well. For sure. Yeah, that's a valid point from Kaleon. Thanks. I was just more excited that the player is hooked already with some weird hand.
I think that shoving is really okay there. Like you are still having only half a pot or something like that left, so
It was
I
a
think
bit over half a pot, but it's not like overbet or anything. It wasn't a pot.
I think it was pretty well planned on getting a good sized stack to shove on the river.
And he was eager to call my like more than half of the pots earlier.
Do you know what we are going to get in a minute?
What?
We are going to get a break!
Oh dear. So I will lose this hand and then we'll have a break. Yeah, if you have like 11 big blinds with that pocket tens, you know what's going to happen. Yeah, with 45 men play 45 men, 45 players, sit and goes. There will be there will be breaks.
There was still 110 left in the deck on the
There
river.
was. Well, I hit my set, so I think that's good.
Don't register now because we are having the break now, so I think it's a bit easier if you don't register during the break.
So we will have really soon a 5-minute break and we will come back afterwards. I think it's right now time to run outside and hit my head on the closest tree I can find.
It's not that close.
Yeah, I need to hurry. Hurry then. Okay, see you soon.